program design. My name is Emily Johnson. I'm the founder and creative director of Stronger You Senior Fitness, and today we are talking about next level walking clubs. I'm going to give you 20 tangible ways that you can enhance or elevate your current walking program. Or if you don't have a walking program currently, this is going to be a way for you to start a really, really great walking program. So let's jump right into it and get you to the good stuff. Just as a little teaser, I'm going to tell you in advance the 4 buckets that we're going to talk about today. So number 1, we're going to talk about stop just walking. Okay, I know that seems a little bit weird for a walking club, but it'll make more sense in a moment. The second thing we're going to talk about is creating some competition. Next, we'll talk about how to get purposeful in your walking club. And number 4, change the scenery. Let's dive right in. Number 1, stop just walking. Your walking club has so many amazing possibilities that may have been untapped. If your group just simply gets together and walks around the block or walks around the building, walks around the track, whatever it might be, your group is missing out. So let's talk about some of the ways that you can enhance it. Number 1 is intervals. Now, you can see I've got myself on the screen here. I would have loved to be holding a camera and going through these things with you, but not really possible with the setup that's required for this. So yesterday I went out to one of my local parks and I did some of these movements so you can see them in real time. So number 1, I'm going to show you how to incorporate intervals. If you're not really sure what an interval is, it's where you walk fast, like I am in the video right now, and then you do a slower interval, like I'm walking right now. And then you'd pick up the pace again for a period of time, and then you would slow it down again. So let's talk a little bit more about incorporating intervals. Like I said, it's a distinct period of time, a higher intensity period of time and a lower intensity period of time. You may have heard the words high intensity interval training before, or HIIT programming. Okay. So yeah, anyone, it doesn't have to be for, people who you think CrossFit or super athletic people do HIIT. Anyone can do high intensity interval training because it's all about those high intensities for your fitness level, followed by a easier or a break of an intensity. So an example of how to incorporate this would be, 1 minute of fast walking to say, all right, everyone, we're going to pick up the pace. I want you to really walk as fast as you can for 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it might be. And then you'd say, all right, that's time. You're going to walk a minute on a slower pace. So this is kind of your break. You could then, as your group gets more and more fit, pick up the intensity. So you could go for 2 minutes and then 1 minute of slow walking. You could walk for 3 minutes fast and 30 seconds slow. And you can increase the intervals at whatever rate makes sense for your group. It might be going up just by 15 seconds and keeping the break the same. And then once that feels a little bit easier, you can shorten the breaks. I have a really great personal example of this. During the pandemic, so actually back in, I think it was April, my husband and I, we started running and we did a couch to 5K. So the very first day, I'm pretty sure it was 1 minute of running, 2 minutes of walking. And oddly enough, we thought this was going to be so easy. We actually were quite struggling to run for a full minute. Neither of us are runners or had run in a while. And so it was actually hard to make it to that 60 seconds. Well, now we're at 8 minutes of running, 5 minute break, 8 minutes of running. And it's crazy to look back at that very first week we started where we could barely do a minute without being really out of breath and looking forward to our 2 minute break. So that shows how over time our bodies adapt and we get stronger. Next thing you can do is change up the steps. This makes your walking program so much fun, and I guarantee you, especially if your walking club walks around your buildings, maybe as the weather starts to get a little bit cooler, you are going to have so many people wanting to join in on your group because it's going to look like a lot of fun. So again, I've got a video here where I'm showing you some moves. Now, first thing I'm doing here is a hand to opposite knee. You could also do a knee to elbow to opposite knee. Next here, I'm doing a heel dig. Walking up on my toes, walking back on my heels. You could do a step touch movement. And then last thing I'm going to show here is some kicks. There we go. So I wouldn't normally do them that fast. I'm showing you about 4 of each of the movements so you can see them. But typically, again, back to the intervals, I would say, all right, let's do 30 seconds of walking up on our toes. Walking up on your toes is really, really good for the calf muscles, the gastrocnemius. And then, okay, let's walk back on our heels. Really great for the anterior tibialis, huge for falls prevention, be able to lift those toes as we walk. Opposite hand to knee, that's really great for working the abdominal muscles, working our psoas major, the muscle that lifts our knees. So you can do all these great things. And then a few more that I've gotten written down there that I didn't actually put in the video, but tap back. So tapping behind as you walk forward. Sidestepping. Sidestepping is really great, even especially if you're indoors or even in a track. So let's say you're walking down a hallway in your building. And instead of turning the corner, you could say, all right, we're going straight down this hallway, and now we're going to sidestep down this hallway. Okay, and then we're going to keep on walking, and then maybe we're going to sidestep again. So working the muscles in the hips and the legs. The more we move and the different movements we do, the greater we enhance our balance and we are able to prevent falls. Also hamstring curls. I didn't show that in the video, but simply taking your heel, kicking it back towards your bum, pretending like you're squeezing something behind the back of your knee. Really, really great for engaging the body. Next is take the stairs. Being able to navigate stairs is a huge part of maintaining independence for an older adult. When you go out to a restaurant or a store or somewhere outside, like the lady in the picture is today, many times a lot of these are accessible now, but not always. And so this woman, you can see her smiling, she may have not been able to go up into this top part of this park, it looks like, unless she was able to take the stairs. And a lot of us, we walk around the building, but many times there is a set of stairs where we can walk up the stairs. And the best place for them to practice walking up the stairs is of course going to be with you, with someone supervised. So I definitely wouldn't recommend that someone just goes off on their own and tries to do the stairs. Oftentimes there's not a lot of supervision in the stairwells, but for those who are independent, definitely they should continue to use those stairs if they can. I had a resident who I always met in the stairwells each morning as I was coming into work. They were using it to maintain their independence. And I had some other residents who weren't quite as independent, and they came to my stair climbing class where we would actively work on having them take the stairs. We would even do things like toe taps up on the stairs, step up and step down on the stairs, and we kind of made it into, again, a little bit of more of a fun experience. Next is setting up a circuit. This is a great way to not only get your upper body and lower body strengthening in addition to your cardio workout. And so a great way is to target all the major muscle groups. Now in this video, what I would normally recommend is, let's say you've got a track, you've got a space that you're going around. Let's say you go around the space one time and you're gonna stop at the chair that says number 1. And then on the wall, there might be a poster that says bicep curls. And they're going to do their bicep curls like you're going to see me do in the video next. Then they go around again and they go a little further past chair 1 to chair 2. And then maybe they're going to do some calf raises. So I'll show you in this video. I'm not going to walk around the track multiple times. It's a really big track where I'm at. But you can see here, I pretended I was walking around the track. I got to station number 1, let's say, and I'm doing some bicep curls. Again, let's say I walked around again. I came to station number 2 and I'm doing the calf raises. Walk around again, get to station number 3. Now I'm going to do some chest presses. So it'll all depend on the size of your space. If you have a really, really large building or a large track like this, you might set it up so that way you're walking for maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes, and then there's a station where you stop and do the exercises. Then you continue on for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and you're going to do another exercise. As you're setting up your stations, if you truly want to help your participants reach that muscular engagement for all their major muscle groups, here are some exercises that you can incorporate. Number 1 is the biceps curls. That's the one I did in the video where I had my weights and I'm doing the bicep curls. A lateral arm raise for the shoulders. And so that's when we take our arm out to the side with either a weight, or you could have a band that's under your foot and you're pulling that band out to the side. Chair push-ups. You can't see my hands, but I'm going to put my hands on the arms of my chair here, and I'm going to push myself out of the chair, and I'm going to come back down. That's really, really great for the tricep muscles, and it's something that's very functional because as we age, we want to ensure we can continue to get out of the chair. So this is a way where we're not just using our legs, but we're using our arms to help get us out of that chair. Wall push-ups, another great move. So as they're walking around, if they've got a wall, they come to that wall and they do a few wall push-ups, maybe 10 or 12 wall push-ups. Chest press, you saw me do in the video there. So taking the band behind the back, doing a chest press out to the front. Wall push-ups and chest press are both a great way to work the muscles of the chest. So if you don't have a wall, let's say you're outside like I was in my video, a chest press is a really great option. Rows for the muscles of the upper back. So grabbing a band or grabbing dumbbells and doing a row back, working the muscles of the upper back. Calf raises, like you saw in the video, rising up on the toes and down. And last but not least, sit to stand. Sit to stands are really functional movements, making sure we can continue to get out of our chair. And so sitting back in that chair and then standing up out of there, working the glutes, working the hamstrings, working the quadriceps. Using equipment. So using weights or bands as you're walking, incorporating backyard games, using a ball. In this video, I'm going to show you a few of the exercises that you can do with a ball. So instead of doing the stopping and doing an exercise, this is where you would do the exercise while you're walking. So let's take a look here. So you can see I'm going to do a two-handed bounce. I'm really using the muscles in my triceps and biceps to bounce that ball. One-handed, so working on coordination. The other hand, I'm going side to side. And this ball doesn't have a lot of air in it. I probably should have had a better ball, so I was really working my muscles there. Other things you can do with the ball is taking the ball around the back, going both directions. You could do finger squeezes with the ball. You could do reaches with the ball. You could do a chest press with the ball. So all of these different things. While you're walking, you could be having just hand weights, hand or ankle weights. Ankle weights typically will wrap around your ankle and you just add a little bit of resistance. Oh, and you know what I just realized is I did not add in pole walking. I should have totally added in pole walking. Another great use of equipment. Pole walking is great because it propels you forward. You're using the poles behind you. It's getting the contraction in the back of your arm and your triceps, also getting a cross contraction in the abdominals, and it's propelling you forward so you're walking a bit faster. So pole walking is great and definitely a piece of equipment that you would likely want to add in. As well as backyard games. This kind of, again, goes into the circuit piece, but having an opportunity to walk around that track, take a break, throw a ladder ball. Keep walking around to a different station, throwing a, washer toss. Keep going around, playing some darts. So these are really great ways to incorporate coordination as well as getting those cardiovascular exercises. So that was number one. That was stop just walking. There's a lot of stuff we just talked about. Number two is create some competition. We are just wired to compete. Even if you say you're not typically a competitive person, I think it's something that's just within all of us. Maybe it goes back to our caveman days, but we all do get a little bit of excitement and thrive on some competition. And so one way to incorporate competition is scavenger hunts. Scavenger hunts are a lot of fun. They're a great thing to do right now during the pandemic as well, because it's an opportunity for your participants to engage without you having to be there with them. And so for scavenger hunts, I've seen people do chalk walk scavenger hunts where they'll put shapes around the building and they're putting in items, and they have to go to that, let's say, square and write down the number that's written inside that square, and then handing that in for a prize. I've seen people hide things around their building, or look for a certain logo or a shape. Find a sock in an odd place, and they go outside and there's a sock hanging off of one of the branches of the tree. So all of these great things. Milestone challenges. This really motivates people to want to hit a milestone, and it could be very simple. It could be come to one class per week, get this prize. It could be once you come to 3 classes per week, you're going to get this prize. Once you've logged a certain amount of steps per day on average, this is your prize. Once you've reached, a larger milestone of steps or kilometers or minutes, get something. People love free stuff. They love to win things. Next is goal setting. Goal setting is really a way for people to make a goal and work for it. And it's important that that goal is personalized. There's a really great example that a director of recreation told me about where she had everyone set a walking goal for themselves. And if they hit that goal, they got a t-shirt. Well, she said as soon as she announced that if you got your goal, you got a t-shirt, she said everyone just went bananas and was so excited to set a goal and hit it. And one of the great things about that was she didn't say you have to walk every day, 7 days for an hour each day, because for some people that would have been unmanageable. But most people are going to be honest and forthcoming, and they're not going to just say, oh, I'm going to walk for 1 hour this week, knowing it's an easy goal just to get your t-shirt. Most people are going to say, okay, what is something that I could do in order to get this t-shirt, whether it be walking for 30 minutes a day, walking 5,000 steps a day, walking 10,000 steps a day, all of that. And group goals as well. So group goals are really fun because everyone can contribute what they're able to contribute. I know of another director of recreation who has her group walking across Canada, and they're doing it as a group. So they're logging their minutes, their steps, or their kilometers, whatever they're doing, and they're, fictitiously, of course, walking across Canada, where they went from Victoria to Kelowna, Kelowna to Calgary, Calgary to Winnipeg. So they're picking where they want to go in Canada, and they're walking to it. And you can also tie this in with some fun theme days. So maybe we're walking over to Victoria, BC. We have a Victoria, BC themed day. And then further to that, not just competing as a group, but competing against other groups. I've done a lot of these competitions against other retirement communities, and it really gets people coming together. And we actually incorporated both staff and residents, which was a lot of fun. So it could be just a simple walking challenge where people have to log, and you kind of have a little a tally showing where everyone is at in the competition. And you say, oh, they're starting to get ahead of us. Time for us to get walking a little bit more. We got to up our game a little bit. So really, really great way to get people involved. Number 3 is get purposeful. A sense of purpose has been really shown in research to help people to do more things. We won't always want to do something, but if we feel a sense of purpose or a sense of obligation, or that we're doing something for someone else, sometimes that's a greater motivation than if someone were to pay us to do it or say, oh, this is good for your health. So an example of this is walking for a cause. There are all these great walks that happen all throughout the year. As an example, the Walk to End Alzheimer's. The Terry Fox Foundation has their Silver Fox Walk. The Relay for Life, that's an all-night walk. That's a really lot of fun, where you try to keep one person on the track from your team for probably like a 12-hour period. So it's all throughout the night. And so as a group, your group could be training as part of this walking club to go to these events throughout the year. There's the Night to End Homelessness. So all these things that they could be working towards, and not just working towards from a walking perspective, but maybe they also want to do some fundraising activities where they're going to do 50-50s or fundraising events or bake sales, whatever it might be. And now it's so much bigger than just a walking club. It's for something greater than themselves. Also, for a sense of purpose, intergenerational walking clubs. I find so often with intergenerational programming, it's the kids coming to sing or doing an art project together or reading a book. But if we can get both groups active, that's amazing, because we're trying to get our aging populations to stay healthy. But on the flip side, we actually have a childhood obesity problem as well. And now that kids are staying home during the pandemic, that's never been more prevalent, is getting kids active. So I know maybe they can't come together right now, but when it's possible, having intergenerational walking clubs where maybe they're working together to make it through those circuits, and they're playing that ladder ball, they're playing that washer toss, they're playing that darts. Well, maybe not darts with kids because it depends what age, but find a way to make it about more than just the walking. And number 4, last but not least, change the scenery. Oh, I know it's getting towards, we're into August now. Summer is going to be a fleeting memory soon. So let's take a hold and enjoy what we have left. Visit local parks. So maybe during the year your walking club walks inside your building, but in the summertime, try to knock off a bunch of local parks. I did this with my residents in Calgary and they loved it because so many of them had lived in Calgary for so long, but there's so many new parks, and Calgary is such a growing city that many of them didn't know about these beautiful parks that had been developed. And even further to that, creating a walking passport where at the end of the summer they can look at their passport and say, wow, I went to 7, 8 of these parks and had a chance to get my walking in, but also got to see all these beautiful, beautiful parks. And even one step further to that, giving them a bit of a memento or a scrapbook to remember it by, taking a picture with the group at each park. So that way at the end of the season, you can give everyone maybe a little bit of a package to remember their summer walking club season. Also, walking to local coffee shops. I've seen groups do this as well, where they're training to get down to the Tim Hortons. Okay, they made it to the Tim Hortons now, and maybe the bus picks them up to bring them home, but maybe the next time they're going to walk to the Tim Hortons and walk all the way back. Maybe now that's easy, so they're going to go a little bit further to this really cute coffee shop that has really nice pastries. So, me, I love exercising in order to eat more food, and so for me, that's really motivating, is being able to walk somewhere to experience something. Now, I want to end with the benefits of walking, because you might be thinking, wow, Emily, these ideas are all really great. We don't really have a walking program right now, but we do have a lot of other fitness programs, so I don't know about walking. And I would say no matter what your program has to offer, add in a walking club. It's so accessible. You don't even necessarily have to have a staff to lead the program. You could have a resident ambassador who runs that program for you. And again, tying it back to that sense of purpose, they could be the one to take the lead on the programming. So what are the benefits of walking? Well, we've got that strengthening of the cardiovascular system. We're getting our 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic activity per week. If we add in the circuit that I was talking about, we can also get the muscle and bone strengthening. As well, we do get just regular walking. We're going to get the benefits for the lower body. It really helps to improve balance and coordination as well, and we can intensify that benefit by adding in those coordination games or bouncing the ball as we're walking. Walking has been shown to prevent and manage so many chronic conditions. There is not a chronic condition that walking isn't good for. Even arthritis, as an example. Some people say, oh, I've got arthritis, walking is just too hard on my knee or my hip, whatever it might be. But again, walking has been shown that just starting nice and slow as you can handle it actually can help to lubricate those joints and help to ease the pain of arthritis. Also helping to maintain a healthy weight. For someone who's overweight or they've never exercised before, walking is something really simple they can start. And when someone is, quite obese, if they take part in physical activities, even something as simple as walking, they can start to see the benefits and those pounds coming off pretty quickly. And so that's going to make them feel more comfortable and more confident in taking part in other activities, like maybe your aerobics class or your strength training class. Walking actually improves digestion, and we all know that having great digestion makes you feel great. No one likes to feel bloated or feel like they're backed up, so to speak. So walking is a really great way to get things moving, and as we age, sometimes digestion can be an issue. So encouraging people to take part in your walking program can help alleviate that problem as well. Walking has also been shown to improve mood and make you feel better. The more you walk, it actually makes you feel less anxious, less moody, less irritable. And if you do it with other people as well in a walking group scenario, you do build those bonds and those connections, and that's going to help make you a lot happier too. And last but certainly not least, boosting your immunity. And that is so important right now. I know a lot of us are stuck at home. We don't want to go out. We want to keep ourselves and others safe. But finding a way to walk helps to boost immunity and keep us healthy. And if we were to get sick, from whatever it might be, being physically active helps us to bounce back better as well. So to recap, I told you almost 20 ways today to innovate and elevate your walking program. Number one, to recap, stop just walking, okay? You don't need to just walk around the track and do nothing. You can incorporate intervals and equipment and all these sorts of things. Create some competition, make it fun, make it exciting, get people striving for goals. Get purposeful. When you have a purpose that's greater than yourself, that's a huge motivating factor, because now you're not just getting out of bed to go for a workout, but you're getting out of bed for a greater cause. And last but not least, especially right now during the summer months, change the scenery. Get out, get some fresh air. So many benefits of being in nature, and we can just add those to the benefits of walking. So thank you everyone for joining me today about walking and taking your walking club to the next level. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I noticed LinkedIn is not working, so I will repost for LinkedIn. And if you need to ask me any questions and you want to reach out to me personally, you can email me at emily@strongeryouSeniorFitness.com and visit strongeryouSeniorFitness.com for more information about Stronger You Senior Fitness. Thank you everyone. Have a great Friday. We will not have an episode next week. Next week, I'm going to be at the CanFit Pro Conference virtually, so we won't have the Art of Senior Fitness program design. But if you want to join me at the CanFit Pro Conference, visit canfitpro.com and you can check out all the amazing virtual programming that they are going to have there. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.